11 Sports and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
You are looking live at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, home of the Sparrows. It is time for quarterfinal action in the Simulation Football League to roll on. After two intense quarterfinal matchups yesterday, we've got the other two today. And live inside the stadium, I am your play-by-play commentator, Michael Cirillo. Benji Matson is alongside me today at a rather cool and chippy but clear Liberty Park as the Jacksonville Kings face the Sioux Falls Sparrows with a semifinal berth on the line. Rosters scrolling across your screen now as we get ready for the coin toss. Benji Matson is with me today. Benji, two teams that have very different offensive philosophies clash in the middle of America this afternoon.
Oh, indeed they do. Michael, it's a pleasure to be here in Liberty Park, or for this afternoon's game, the Sparrow Dome. Two teams enter, only one team will emerge victorious today. You are right, Michael. Two varying styles. Both these teams are excellent at what they do. Sioux Falls loves to run the ball with their stud, Colin Hart. And Jacksonville, a very balanced attack on offense, has pressure coming from the front four. On defense, this is going to be a great matchup today. I cannot wait to see how this one unfolds.
We'll also see two legendary quarterbacks with 17 SFL seasons combined. Jacksonville won the toss, chose to defer, so kicker Anthony Sioux has the ball on the team. At the 30-yard line, he's got his hand in the air. The whistle blows, and a Sunday slate of quarterfinal action in the Simulation Football League is underway, and it's kneeled down in the back of the end zone by A.J. Levy. You talked about the vaunted Sioux Falls Sparrows running attack. Here is their offense. Julian Tyree, 10-season veteran, is under center at quarterback. Their main man, Colin Hart, is in the backfield. Jalen Wells, the fullback. A.J. Warren, Gunnar Lewis, and Al Dillapre Sr., the wide receivers. Noe Terrazas, the tight end, and Dusty Wilson is manning the left guard position. First and 10 for the 20-yard line. Handoff, Colin Hart sheds one tackle in the backfield, then is dragged down by his shoelaces after a gain of only 2 by Mike Auld. Second down at 8 after the gain of 2. They go 5 wide with Tyree alone in the gun. He takes the snap, drops back to pass, fires it over the middle, gets crushed as he released the football, but it is caught up to the 29-yard line. First catch of the day for Turin James, and it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Sioux Falls right off the bat lines up in that run-heavy formation. You know they're going to want to do that all day long. Great first down for that Kings defense to shut down Colin Hart. We are at a 3rd and short, though, here.
They've gone right back to the power I formation, running right behind the fullback, Beanie Wells. Colin Hart gets a block, gets to the outside, a first down, and a whole lot more up to the 41-yard line. Here is the Jacksonville defense. On the defensive line, it's Hunter Norwood, Jaquan Hale, and Mike All. Clay Jones and J.R. Lawless are the linebackers. Rain Rie, Michael Sprouse, and Bernard Gooden at cornerback. Succo Lomano at free safety, and Alex Bond partners him in the backfield. Sioux Falls has a 1st and 10 now at their own 41. Just a minute and a half gone by here in this 3rd of 4 quarterfinals. Tyree under center, I formation, a fullback dive to Wells, and we've seen this a lot, Benji. We've covered the Sparrows 3 separate times this season, and Jalen Wells, while he doesn't get the star power and accolades that maybe some of the Colin Hart does, he is a key piece of this Sparrows offense.
Absolutely. Jalen Beanie Wells, a great compliment on the ground to Colin Hart.
Another run up the middle, stopped by Succolomano brings up a second straight 3rd and 1 at midfield.
Yeah, 3rd and 1. These are going to be important downs in this game today. At 3rd and 1, if you're the Sparrows, you know you're going to want to line up and run it, and you have to believe that's what the Kings are expecting. We'll see what they call on defense here on this 3rd and short.
Offset eye again, strong side set to the right. They're going to hand it off to Colin Hart. He breaks one tackle but cannot get away from the second one, as he's going to be a yard short of the first down marker. Alex Bond came in there and knocked him down, and now an early choice to make for head coach Jason McGee in this Sparrows offense.
Great play up front by Mike All from his defensive end spot there to wreak havoc. Oh, looks like they're lining up to go for it.
Power eye right at the midfield stripe. Got to get a yard and a half for the first down. They may just try and draw Jacksonville off sides here. And it does not look like they will snap the football with just 3 seconds to go, and they will call their first time out. So the Jacksonville defense holds on the opening series, and that will be important to stop the two-headed rushing attack of Hart and Wells, because Gunnar Lewis, who is the main receiving threat for the Sparrows, only coming into the game with 720 yards on the season. The Sparrows have the lowest passing yards per game at 179. So if you shut down the run game, there's a very strong chance that you're going to be in it at the end here against Sioux Falls.
That's a big if, though, today. Tall task ahead for the Kings.
Low snap, corralled by punter Max Moholt. Fair catch called for and taken at the Jacksonville 19-yard line by Mike St. Green. And here is the Jacksonville offense. Quarterback Christian Christensen, running back Jared Willis. Grayson Willis, no relation, is the wide receiver, along with Ken Gossett and Mike St. Green. Tight end Jack Wall, Dave Barr, A.G. Pennypacker, and Ricky Thornton are along the offensive line. 1st and 10 for the 19-yard line. They go left to right in this first quarter. Christensen back to pass. He fires over the middle. Left pass is complete. One of the defenders fell down, which gives Jack Wall, the tight end, a free lane to the 32-yard line for a first down.
Right off the bat, Jacksonville decides to air it out on first down. Jack Wall, fantastic tight end for this team, is a great target for Christian Christensen here. Good to get that tight end involved right off the opening bell here. And this is going to be an interesting aspect of this game today. Jacksonville, very balanced. We know they've got a fantastic running game with Jared Willis. I'm sure we'll be calling his name a lot today. But they can also sling it behind the powerful arm of Christian Christensen. They're going to need that balance on offense to keep Sioux Falls guessing.
Here is Willis. Nicely through the first level of defense. Good blocking there by the offensive line. Picks up 7 yards right up the middle. Let's talk about the Sioux Falls defense now. James Kelly, Cam Frosby, and Jonathan Comp on the offensive line. One of the best linebacking cores in the league. Alex Parker, Nick Fargo, and Jose Fuentes man that department. John Barnhart and Terrell Davis are the corners. Safeties are A.J. Levy, Jay Ringgold, and Nathan Barnett. Here's a swing pass outside Darren Willis. He stood up and dropped by A.J. Levy, but not before he picks up a first down to the Jacksonville 46-yard line. So the big purple machine has got that efficiency going early.
Absolutely. Jared Willis here. We see him receiving pass out of the backfield, something they've done a lot, utilizing Jared Willis from that halfback spot, over 70 receptions from his spot in the backfield there. Again, that just speaks to the balance of this team. They can hurt you in a number of different ways today, and they're going to be wanting to find the right spots to exploit this Sparrows defense. And they're trying to pick their way around all these spots here in this opening drive.
It's another swing pass, and that time well read by Nick Fargo, one of the three-headed monster of linebackers that the Sparrows have. It'll gain of only 1.
Nick's enjoying a great year from his linebacker spot. He's a big 6'3" linebacker from Bloomington, Indiana. They call him Batman.
75 total tackles coming into the game for Fargo. 2nd down and 9 for the 47-yard line. Jacksonville trying to get to midfield. Christensen moves in the pocket, fumbles the football. It is still loose on the ground. It's going to be dove on back at the 38-yard line by Jacksonville. A.G. Pennypacker saves a bit of embarrassment there by diving on the fumble. Christensen coughs it up, and it's going to be 2nd down and 18.
Ball security is going to be paramount today for the Kings. That is a stroke of luck there that they were able to recover that fumble. They just cannot afford today to play behind schedule, if you will. It's going to be so important to take care of the ball today.
Excuse me, I was misspoken. 3rd down at 18 now. Got to get past midfield for the first down. Christensen throws to the far side, complete, but not nearly enough to get even anywhere close to the first down as Ken Gossett picked up his first catch of the day. Gains only 3 yards, and out comes punter Howard McCoy. So the Sparrows and the Kings trade defensive stops on their first series.
And it could have been a disastrous ending to this series here for Jacksonville. They're so lucky again to be able to fall on that fumble. And they didn't score any points, but, coming away with this, able to punt, maybe pin the Sparrows deep, and that might be a win given the situation.
Falls comes after the punt. They almost get there. Levy does not fair catch it. It actually spins away from 2 defenders, and another spin move takes him up to the 28-yard line. Nice return by A.J. Levy. And that is where the Sparrows will have the football when we come back. No score between Sioux Falls and Jacksonville. This is the Simulation Football League quarterfinals on 11 Sports and for the fans. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Liberty Park in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. No score yet in this quarterfinal between the Sioux Falls Sparrows and the Jacksonville Kings. Sparrows back on the field and in a shotgun formation. Here's Jalen Wells. He throws it complete to the near side. That is A.J. Warren, completes it out for 8 yards. We've got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league to have ever done it on show today. Tyree second all time in total passing yards coming into the day. And how about that completion percentage and quarterback rating for Christensen over 7 seasons?
Yeah, these are fantastic marks by these 2 veterans. These are quality quarterbacks, quality gentlemen, excellent additions to the Simulation Football League. They've just had outstanding careers. It's very fitting that they're both facing off against each other today in the playoffs.
Colin Hart can't get to the line again. He's going to be a yard short. Excellent tackling again by the Jacksonville secondary. Michael Sprouse made the final hit on that one.
Michael Lockdown Sprouse out of Joplin, Missouri, the big cornerback at 6 foot tall. That's going to be so important today to make sure the second wave of tacklers arrives at the ball so quickly, put Colin Hart on the ground.
Down and 1, handoff, Wells up the middle, gets skinny and gets a first down up to the 40-yard line. Did well to avoid the big body of Hunter Norwood, who's going to be the main defensive threat for Jacksonville today.
And that fullback dive play for Sioux Falls, we're going to see it often today, but they just run it so well with the linebacking core, secondary, eyes in the backfield, watching to see that action. Where does Colin Hart go? And just when you least expect it, they sneak Beanie Wells up the middle for that gain.
Jacksonville loads up the box, but Hart runs right through it off the right-hand side. Does a very nice job to get 5 yards. J.R. Lawless eventually the man to bring him down at the 45-yard line. Sioux Falls in the all-black today with gray and yellow accents. Jacksonville white with purple and gold accents.
I love both these combos on these teams today.
3 minutes to go, first quarter, another run for Hart. He tries to bounce it outside, but will only get 1 yard as the offensive line is starting to cue in on this Sparrows running attack. Both of these teams up near the top in third down efficiency, tied for second, in fact, at 60%.
And this is going to be a tricky 3rd and 4 for the Sparrows to pick up. Looks like they might be coming out in a passing formation.
Center goes Tyree. He's going to take a 3-step drop throw over the middle into soft zone, and he hits A.J. Warren deep into Jacksonville territory all the way up to the 37-yard line. They don't pass often to Sioux Falls, but give up on the passing game as a defense, and you'll get burned.
Absolutely. Some might say they're just laying in wait, this passing attack is, waiting for that moment where they can strike. When they need to pick up those yards, like on a 3rd and 4th, across the middle, they can get it done. They have very capable receivers across the board here, the Sparrows team does. But yeah, what you said, Michael, don't fall asleep on this passing game. Sparrows like to lull you to sleep a little bit.
And Jacksonville pretty much has every defender in the box against the 4-wide set. Low snap, all-out blitz coming, and the pass is incomplete. Tried to throw it into a bread box for Gunnar Lewis, who was double covered primarily by Alex Bond.
Yeah, that was an interesting new look that Jacksonville came out with here. Everyone in the box lined it up. You'd like to see maybe a chance if Sioux Falls has it in a game like this today. Why not try one over the top deep like that? They didn't have the right route combo called for that particular play, but that was such an interesting look that the Kings came out with. Might have forced Julian Tyree to think about things for a little bit, but no audible called on that play. They liked what they saw, just couldn't get the pass completed. Sets up a 2nd and 10.
He had Al Dillapre Sr. on the near side left on a one-on-one matchup. Didn't choose to go for him that time. 2nd down and 10. They go a little bit more conservative, just a single receiver each side. They'll run Hart up the middle, drag down from behind after a gain of 5 by Clay Jones. The linebackers for Jacksonville are going to get a big workout today, and really for both teams with how they like to run the football. And they have running backs who have elite speed once they get free, so it's those linebackers' jobs to really not let them get in open space. 3rd down and 5. Handoff. Hart running the wrong way as the offensive line couldn't make a hole for him, and he's going to be dropped back for a loss of 4 at the 36-yard line.
You see the attitude of Sioux Falls here. 2nd and 10. They run the fullback up the middle, get 5 yards. 3rd and 5. They still feel so confident in their running game with Colin Hart. They hand the ball off, and that backfired on this particular play. Almost pushed them out of field goal range here. 4th and 9. Ball on the 36. They're going to try for 3 here.
Boy. This is going to be a long one. The kicker is Maxwell Falk. His long this season is 51. This would be from 52 to put the Sparrows on the board. The snap is good. The left foot addresses the football. It's got the length, and it's just wide to the right. So Sioux Falls comes up empty with the 52-yard field goal try. 50 seconds left in the first quarter. We still have no score. And in fact, that was on the money, just about a half-yard short.
And how about that Jacksonville Kings play on 3rd down, 3rd and 5, forces the 4-yard loss. And it was those 4 yards that made the difference on that kick. Great play by the Kings defense, and they get their offense right back on the field.
Here's Christensen and company back on the field from their own 42-yard line. Under a minute to go first quarter. Christensen in the gun, 3 receivers to aim at. He has plenty of time to throw it down the field. It's almost intercepted. He tried to squeeze it in there to Ken Gossett, rather. And it was knocked away. Couple of milestones. Sorry, Benji.
Nope.
A couple of milestones that could be hit in this game on the Jacksonville offense. Christensen can move up to 4th all-time in passing yards. Willis could move up to the top 20 all-time in rushing yards.
These two have been a great combo for a long time in the league.
2nd down and 10 for the 42. Here is Willis right up the middle. Gets a nice block, and then is taken down after a gain of 7 by A.J. Levy.
A.J. Levy's a sure tackler from his strong safety spot. Been patrolling that secondary all season long. Can't get past A.J. Levy. That was a great open field one-on-one tackle by the veteran.
73 tackles in the regular season for Levy. Christensen going to air it out. It's off the hands of his intended receiver and then incomplete. Jason Stackhouse was the man out there, and it was knocked away.
Christensen put a little touch on that pass, actually. You might have thought it was underthrown, but I think he put it in just the right spot to give his receiver a chance to come in with that. The receiver was running just in front of the defender, just couldn't make the connection there, but good touch on that pass by Christensen.
Jacksonville goes 3 and out after the missed field goal by Sioux Falls. And this is the first punt of the day, or second punt of the day, rather, for Howard McCoy. Once again, Sioux Falls comes after it. McCoy gets the punt away. Does that hang up? It does. At the 3-2-1. What a gorgeous punt. Paint that one and hang it in a museum as the Sparrows will start from inside their own 1-yard line.
We're looking at the score 0-0 here at the end of the first quarter. But if we ask the question, who would have won? Who won this first quarter? I think absolutely without question, you'd say Jacksonville has won this first quarter, playing strong defense, forcing the missed field goal, and now they have the Sparrows backed up on the one.
Sparrows got to be careful with their play calling here. They're going to be a fullback dive, and in my opinion, that's the right call. Wells gets 1 yard, gets a little bit of separation, and that will bring the first quarter to an end. Defense, the name of the game here in Sioux Falls this afternoon, as there's no score through the first 11 minutes. The Kings and the Sparrows continue to fight next. This is the SFL playoffs on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Simulation Football League quarterfinal action rolling on from Sioux Falls as the hometown Sparrows face the Jacksonville Kings. Second quarter on tap, no score. And Sioux Falls facing second down and 9 from their own 2-yard line. Another handoff to Wells, dragging 3 purple jerseys behind him as he gets 3 yards. Up to the 5-yard line, and now Sioux Falls will face a third down and 6.
They're doing the best they can right now. They're backed up on the goal line. I would expect another run here, possibly on 3rd and 6. You just want to be careful. The way this game's going, points might be at a premium today. You just want to make sure you take care of the ball when you're deep in your own space.
Tyree has 3 receivers to the left, but he's going to throw to the one-on-one matchup to the right, and it's caught for the first down. A diving catch under pressure, tremendously done. And it will be first down for the Sparrows at their own 14-yard line. Noe Terrazas, the tight end, with his first involvement of the game.
Great grab by the tight end out of Paint Rock, Texas. Noe Terrazas stands 6'6", 235 pounds. Second year with the team. He's a great target for Julian Tyree when he needs something in a pinch. Well executed play on 3rd down.
Now with a bit of separation, 1st and 10 at their own 14. Tyree is going to sling it out to Wells, actually. Wells on the fullback sprint down the far sideline. He's going to get all the way to the 40-yard line. Nobody covered the out route to the fullback.
We've seen Colin Hart actually be in the receiver favorite out of the backfield on a few plays already today, and when they least expected it, they catch him off guard with Jalen Wells, the big fullback, lumbering down the sideline there, gets loose on a big gain for the Sparrows, gets him closer to midfield. This drive, remember, started from the 1-yard line at the end of that first quarter here, and maybe we're starting to see some signs of life from the Sparrows. 1st and 10 on the 40.
To be fair, I wouldn't cover the fullback on the outside either. Oh, look out. Here comes the blitz, and down goes Tyree all the way back at the 35-yard line. It's going to be a loss of 6 on the play. They brought the house, and J.R. Lawless reaps the benefits.
J.R. Lawless comes on the blitz from his linebacker spot. I believe that could be his first sack of the year for the 6-foot-tall linebacker out of Tucson, Arizona. Second year with the team. Good play and great play call on defense by the Kings.
It's indeed the first sack of the season for Lawless. Second down and 16 now, 5 wide. And Tyree goes to the far side, gets a few of those yards back through Warren. Lawless definitely is going to break the 100 tackle mark for the season. Came into the game with 97, now he's got 98. but that his first sack of the season. The aggressive linebacker in this pairing is Clay Jones, who has 5 sacks.
And it's odd that we're talking about the linebackers and sacks before we're talking about this defensive front and their sack totals this season.
Corey, we'll get there. They bring the house again. Tyree goes over the top, and they take the top off the defense. Al Dillapre Sr. with a massive catch up to the 37-yard line.
Huge play by the Sparrows to pick up this first down here. Great route run by Al Dillapre Sr. They call him Big Al. He's 6'3", just runs a great corner route to the outside. Great connection with Julian Tyree there, and picking up and converting on this third down. It's going to be so important for the Sparrows just when you think the Kings have him backed up. Passing third and long is not a strong suit of the Sparrows, but here they convert, set up another first down, and this long drive continues.
First and 10 from the 37-yard line. They go back to the run-heavy formation, but they're going to pass. Tyree, middle, wide open down the seam, all the way down into the red zone of the 16-yard line, A.J. Warren.
2 passes in a row. A.J. Warren just cuts across the middle, and no one is home across the middle, perhaps caught in a bit of a man defense, and those linebackers vacated those spots. Wide open across the middle for A.J. Warren. And this drive started on the goal line. Some key passes completed by Julian Tyree to his weapons on the outside.
Tyree to throw again, this time to Hart on the outside, gets a block, gets to the 5, and will roll untouched into the end zone to cap off a 99-yard drive for Sioux Falls to take the lead.
Just like that, have you seen a more brilliant 99-yard drive this season? And here Sioux Falls, backed up against the wall, executes perfectly. Everyone on the team touched the ball on this drive with the exception of Gunnar Lewis. And wow, what a drive led by Julian Tyree. Put 6 on the board for the Sparrows here in the second quarter. That was an impressive drive.
That's what 10 seasons of veteran leadership will get you. He masterminded that drive. He baited the Jacksonville Kings into sending the house over and over and over again. And you saw the result. They just took the top off the defense a couple of times, ran a couple of tricky routes. Remember Jalen Wells on the outside catching a pass, and it's 7-0 Sparrows just like that. Jacksonville will try to respond when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League quarterfinals on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Sioux Falls Sparrows with a 7-0 lead over the Jacksonville Kings here at Liberty Park in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's win or go home here in the SFL quarterfinals. Both of these teams fighting for their season 15 lives. Two of the biggest heavyweights in the SFL history meeting tonight. This is a matchup worthy of a finals, but they meet here in the quarters. 4 title game appearances between the two. Sioux Falls leads the all-time series 4-1, but despite getting to the championship game that much, both teams still looking for their first franchise title. 1st and 10 now for Jacksonville after the 5-minute, 9-play, 99-yard drive to score for Sioux Falls. That ball is tipped up into the air and knocked away, intended for Mike St. Green.
Great coverage on defense there by the Sparrows. CC Christian Christensen was trying to wing that ball into a tight space looking for Mike St. Green. Could not make that completion, but that was due to fantastic defense by the Sparrows.
2nd down and 10. There's just been a slight disconnect, or call it good defense, against the Christensen passing game so far. He's going to throw an out route to Jared Willis, and Willis gets 6 yards before he's knocked out of bounds by Levy.
A.J. Levy with another sure-footed tackle. Make sure that Jared Willis cannot escape. Sets him down. 3rd and 4, an interesting 3rd and 4 for Jacksonville. They definitely want to make sure they can stay on the field here. What do they call on this 3rd and short?
3 wide receivers to aim at. Christensen is going to stand in the pocket, fire over the middle, and find some space underneath. It's going to be a 1st down at the 37-yard line. Jack Wall made the catch.
Going back to the big tight end, Jack Wall, 6'7", 255 pounds there. 2nd reception on the day. He's going to be there when Christian Christensen's under pressure, needs to just get that ball out. Look for that tall target. Jack Wall standing 6'7" across the middle. They teamed up for a great completion there.
Receivers put out wide to the left. 2 tight ends as well. Christensen going to go weak side slants, and it's going to be incomplete. It was off the hands of Willis.
So it's up 2nd and 10 for Christian Christensen and the team. 41 yards to the air so far in this game. Maybe a bit off to a slow start. Still just a score down. So all is well still for the Kings here. They do want to try and extend this drive and stay on this field if they can do it.
2nd down and 10. If nothing else, they give their defense a rest. Christensen middle, caught by St. Green, and he's got a 1st down into Sioux Falls territory at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, go right back to Mike St. Green after they couldn't hook up on that earlier pass in this drive. And here he runs a fantastic route, gets himself open, settles right into the sweet spot, and Christian Christensen finds him for the 1st down to keep this drive alive.
49-yard line of Sioux Falls where the ball is set up just inside Sparrow territory. Jacksonville's 2nd trip over the 50-yard line in this football game. Christensen back to pass. Little curl route to the far side for 3 yards. Does complete to Gossett. Download Crowd Play, our new partner for 2020, and play the game about the game. Follow the action and answer questions for a chance to win a share of the $1,000 prize pool. Your next chance to win is today, Sunday, October 18th at 4:30 p.m. as the Vancouver Legion try to slow down the dynamic offense of the Louisiana Revolution. Christensen with all day to throw in the pocket, and he finds Grayson Willis for a 1st down at the 34-yard line. Excellent body control there to tap the toes and move the chains.
Yeah, just a 3-step drop by CC on that play, but he had to wait and let Grayson develop that route. And just when you thought Christian Christensen couldn't stand in that pocket anymore, he's able to deliver the strike to convert another 1st down for the Kings.
Shout out going right now to the Jacksonville offensive line for keeping Christensen safe in the pocket so far. 1st and 10 for the 34. Christensen, quick strike over the middle, is caught by Grayson Willis inside the red zone to the 19-yard line as we cross under 6 minutes to go in the 1st half. A very fast-moving 1st half.
Absolutely. Not much scoring yet, but it has been a fast-moving half here. CC gets the ball out of his hands right away. Connects with Grayson Willis again. 2 catches in a row for the wide receiver. Keeps the chains moving. Another 1st down for the Kings. They're in the red zone now. See what happens.
On the 19-yard line, Christensen again stands in, fires underneath to Gossett, and he is dragged down after a gain of 6. by Terrell Davis. 2nd down and 4.
And this is one of the best things you can do to neutralize a pass rush is get that ball out quickly. We're taking short 3-step drops here. Christensen is scanning the field, getting the ball out fast, taking what the defense is giving you, and it's allowed them to sustain this drive, another long drive right after that 99-yarder by the Sparrows. Now the Kings are threatening to put 7 on the board themselves.
Christensen back in the shotgun. 2nd and 4 from the 13-yard line. He takes the snap. He fires towards the end zone. It's knocked away. Terrell Davis in expert coverage on Ken Gossett. And that's probably a big matchup we'd have to watch throughout the game because Ken Gossett is the big threat for the Jacksonville offense.
Absolutely. KG, they call him. He is their leading receiver. You know he's going to be that target that Christensen is looking for. But Terrell Davis plays some good defense. He's one of the league leaders in passes defense this year in the SFL. He's a sneaky cornerback out there. You got to be alert and watching where he is anytime you let loose with a pass like that.
Players on these teams littered all over the top of the passes defended ranking this season. Christensen fires a little duck pass out there. Looked like it was tipped at the line, and it was way over the head of Jared Willis. It'll be 4th down and 4.
That definitely was tipped at the line, I believe.
Back to the passes defended. We got Jay Ringgold there for Sioux Falls. J.R. Lawless in there. Terrell Davis, who we just highlighted, who's marking Ken Gossett today. All in the top of the passes defended rankings this season. And here is Anthony Cece, a relative chip shot. A 30-yarder on tap for number 2. Snap, hold, kick, on the way, and good from 30 yards. So the Kings are on the board. 4 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the first half. Jacksonville 3, Sioux Falls 7. This is the Simulation Football League quarterfinals on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Benji, a bit of a slower start to this game from both offenses than we anticipated.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that on the field. But, you know, if you are the Kings kicking the ball off now, after driving the length of that field, kicking a field goal, I think you're still going to be happy with the start to this game today. We had talked earlier about not playing from behind, and the Kings are absolutely in this game here as we just passed the halfway mark in the second quarter.
Always a dangerous returner, gets up to the 26-yard line. That's where the Sparrows will begin their next drive. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, you're watching the first controllerless esport where strategy and AI instead of thumbs determines the outcome. Teams submit game plans prior to the simulation, and the results play out live in real time with hundreds of viewers turned players, scouts, coaches, team owners, and more on the field to create an all-new kind of virtual reality. Visit simulationfl.net for more information. 1st and 10, handoff. Colin Hart gets a nice block. Look at that offensive lineman out there. Randy Colin Hart is still going. He's up past the midfield stripe. There's the big run that we've been waiting for Colin Hart. But how about Cooper Colston, the offensive lineman at left guard, sprinting out ahead of his running back?
He's just looking for someone to block. He wants to pancake someone, anyone. He was looking for anyone out there to knock over. That was just a well-blocked, well-executed play by the Sparrows. And that's the first large run by Colin Hart today. So far, the Kings have done a fantastic job of bottling him up. But that was a big play for the Sparrows.
All spotted just on the Jacksonville half of midfield. Here's Jalen Wells right into the teeth of the defense and knocked down by Alex Bond after only a 2-yard gain.
And at this spot in the game, after that long run by Colin Hart, you'd think that might be one of the stories of the game. We'd be coming in talking about Colin Hart running all over the Kings, but actually, so far, Jacksonville's doing a fantastic job keeping him bottled. It's Julian Tyree with over 130 yards, 9 out of 10 early in this game today. It's the passing attack that's making the waves.
Jalen Wells breaks a tackle and almost picks up a first down. He's about a half-yard short to the 40-yard line. Succolomano made the tackle. And the emergence of Colin Wells as almost a second feature back now. You can't really call him a fullback with the performances he's turned in, especially the later part of this season.
That's very true. He loves playing that role, though. Again, strong compliment to Colin Hart in that backfield.
The ball again and fall forward for a first down of the 38-yard line. Jacksonville center Gus Lucas was injured on the final play of the previous series, so we'll see if the integrity of that offensive line can hold next series that the Kings are on offense. Down and 10 at the 38. 7-step drop for Tyree, and incomplete, intended for A.J. Warren. Knocked down by Michael Sprouse. If he floats that ball into the hands of Warren, that's a touchdown.
Absolutely. He'd still be running at the moment. That's a fantastic play by Michael Sprouse to save that, to set up 2nd and 10. Kings need to play tough here. Be mindful, but Sparrows have them guessing. Of course, they're lining up run heavy here.
2nd down and 10. I know a lot of teams in the SFL who like to throw screens and slants off of this formation, so it's not necessarily a run formation. It will be a handoff to Colin Hart, who breaks the tackle in the backfield. It's a second tackle in open space, gets to the 20, and is finally dragged down at the 18-yard line by Michael Sprouse.
This is quintessential Colin Hart right here. Well blocked up front, but when you need him, Colin Hart's going to break all the tackles. I mean, he breaks 2, strong running there, almost breaks this 3rd, and if he could have gotten away there, he'd be in the end zone for 6. That's just so deadly. When you're on defense trying to defend Colin Hart, you have to get multiple people rallying to the ball, wrapping him up, and getting him down. It's just so hard to tackle him in the open field because he is such a beast.
This is what happens to defenses against Sioux Falls. I'll finish my point after this. 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. 2nd trip to the red zone for Sioux Falls today. High snap. Here's the quarterback draw, and he slides down. No gain on the play, only to the 17-yard line. And that changes the talking point because Julian Tyree just went over 100 rushing yards for the season with that 1-yard scamper.
Did they even give him a yard there? They're saying 2nd and 10. He's caught. 99, 100.
We'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. And when we come back, Sioux Falls tries to extend their lead. It's the 2-minute warning of the first half between the Sparrows and the Kings. This is the Simulation Football League quarterfinals on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Sioux Falls Sparrows in the red zone and looking to extend a 7-3 lead here. 2 minutes left to go. First half. 3 receivers, bunch to the left, single right. Tyree back to pass. He slings it over the middle and it's incomplete. That Sprouse-Warren matchup has been going the way of Michael Sprouse on this drive, and it's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Michael Sprouse has made 2 touchdown-saving plays on this drive alone. Fantastic play by the cornerback there. Sets up a 3rd and long. Of course, Sparrows want a touchdown here. They want 6 points, so they're going to line up to throw this ball. We'll see if Jacksonville can put some pressure on the quarterback.
Linebackers staying relatively close to the line. Now they move up into blitzing formation. Here comes the all-out blitz. Tyree gets the pass away. It's caught at the 2-yard line. And down inside the 1 is A.J. Warren. He finally got the better of Michael Sprouse.
Good play call here by Julian Tyree. Looks like they're reviewing the spot of the ball, perhaps. But that was a great play.
To see if it's a touchdown.
Oh, perhaps. Great play call by the Sparrows there to take advantage of that defensive call. They knew the blitz was coming. So they knew they had one-on-one coverage there on the outside. A great route catch by A.J. Warren.
Well, we didn't get a very good look at it. Let's see what R62 has to say. Jason McGee appears happy. The ruling on the field stands, so it will be 1st down and goal at the inch line.
A.J. Warren's asking to review that a second time because are we sure we just don't want to go ahead and give him the touchdown? That's what he's saying. Give me the touchdown.
First down and goal. We could see one of our patented Julian Tyree quarterback sneaks here. They are going power I. The give is to Jalen Wells. He's going to be short. He didn't get there. Excellent tackle in space by J.R. Lawless to save a touchdown.
Yeah, short with attitude on that play. J.R. Lawless fills the hole there quickly and sits the fullback down on the ground.
The formation slightly for this second down and goal attempt. Hand off to Wells again, and this time he charges forward. Jalen Wells, with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, has given Sioux Falls back their 2-possession advantage.
And I think Sioux Falls on that play wanted to flex a little muscle. There's a let's go right back to the fullback on this one. I don't think that the Kings can stop us on the goal line. And they flex their muscle, which they do so often this year in this running game. Score another 6 points on the board. This time, the big fullback, Jalen Wells, delivers.
Shout out on that play to left guard Dusty Wilson, the round 5 selection. He's a rookie out of Annapolis. He has the unenviable task of going one-on-one with Hunter Norwood today. And on that play, Jalen Wells didn't get touched by the big defensive tackle. So the extra point is up and good. It's 14-3 Sioux Falls, a minute 14 to go in the first half. Jacksonville now going to look for some answers on offense. That was an 11-play, 72-yard drive with a 1-yard rushing touchdown for Jalen Wells at the end of it, thanks to Rochelle Colston and Delaney Nash for keeping live stats for us this afternoon. Big kick by Maxwell Falk goes all the way through the end zone. Jacksonville will start at their own 20-yard line. Only one quarterfinal left to go. That's Vancouver and Louisiana. Tonight at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, that's the Crowd Play Game of the Week. You can get in there for your chance to win a share of the $1,000 prize pool with the Crowd Play app. And then the semifinals, which I'm sure we'll talk about ad nauseum later in the broadcast. 1st and 10. Christensen back to pass. Pressure comes. He throws it over the middle, and it's complete to the tight end, Jack Wall, for 9 yards.
Interesting that they're not showing more urgency here. They do have 3 timeouts. They have a minute left on the clock. They do receive the second half kickoff, so they have an opportunity here. If they can advance this ball, at least try a field goal at the end of the half, they could really flip the script a little bit on Sioux Falls. You'd like to see them be a bit more aggressive here.
Second down and 1, 45 seconds and counting to go. Christensen gets it out quick on a screen to Willis, who tries to get out of bounds, and he does so at the 34-yard line. 1st down and 10 for Jacksonville.
Yeah, you just think that in a game where you're playing, well, you hope Jacksonville's not playing to lose. They're playing to win today. It's win or go home. This is the quarterfinals of the SFL. You have to go to the max here. I'm just surprised that they are not trying to see what they can get here at the end of this second quarter.
1st and 10 from the 34. Christensen, short pass again over the middle of the wall. Tackled in the middle of the field at the 41-yard line. Jacksonville calls their first timeout.
And of course, that's why I'm not coaching in this game today. That's why I'm up here in the booth. That's why I'm not getting paid any money to be coaching these two teams today. They do have their timeouts to take advantage of. They were able to come across the middle there, pick up some positive yards. Still have 2 more timeouts, so now starting to approach midfield. We'll see what they can do.
Second down and 3 now. 35 seconds to go first half. Christensen again short over the middle. That was caught in traffic. That almost looked to be intercepted, but it was hauled in. Looked like Jack Wall was the recipient of that one again. They'll go quickly now. With 20 seconds left in the half, they throw it out to Gossett, and Gossett steps out of bounds at the Sioux Falls 48-yard line. With only 18 seconds to go, Jacksonville is going into the wind, so they got to get closer than usual for Anthony Cece to even attempt a field goal here at the end of the half.
Yes, they need to be looking down the field. That was such an interesting play call to call the timeout with the completion across the middle and then run no huddle, only to run that 5-yard out on that play.
15 seconds to go, still 2 timeouts for the Kings. Christensen against the 4-man rush. He fires it over the middle. That pass is caught. And the second timeout immediately used by Frank Gooden. as Grayson Willis hauled that one in at the Sioux Falls 32. They're getting closer.
Yeah, I think we might be in field goal range here. So if that's the case, then this is absolutely a successful drive here. Well, 2 receivers out in the pattern. Initially, they did have someone running underneath, but even with just those 2 routes, they will take advantage, get a nice completion across the middle, and those timeouts that they had saved are allowing them to attempt this kick here.
Wow, they're going to line it up to go for it. It's going to be a 49-yarder for Anthony Sioux into the wind. Snap down. Kick all the way from Sioux. It is good from 49 yards. Anthony Sioux still has not missed in his career. He is now 64 of 64 for field goals with a long of 53, quickly writing his name into the SFL record books.
That was a big kick. Be mindful of that in this second half when teams are going into that wind. No problem for the kicker. Excellent kicker on that play.
Anthony, the automatic Sioux, drags Jacksonville ever closer. 9 seconds left to go. Here's the kickoff. Warren going to return from the goal line. Just looking to maybe break one here. He'll be knocked down at the 24. And with only 4 seconds left to go, I think a kneel down into the locker room for halftime is in order for Sioux Falls.
This first half has gone quickly, but this is a great game we're seeing by 2 excellent veteran teams. It's going to be a great second half.
It's going to be a handoff to Hart. He goes up the middle, and that will be the end of the first half. Slow-moving defensive chess match, whatever you want to call it. It's 14-6 at the break between the Sparrows and the Kings. And it's been all about whose defense can slow down whose offensive philosophy. And right now, Sioux Falls is winning on both fronts.
Yeah, take a look at some of these stats. These are impressive here. Sioux Falls doubling the time of possession. Look at their third down percentage completion there, 77%. And they are holding the Kings to just 21 yards on the ground in that first half. And the first highlight out of the gate here, what do we see? It's not Colin Hart on the ground. It's Julian Tyree throwing the ball. 10 for 13 in that half today. It's 152 yards and a touchdown. Coming into this game today, we all expected that it would be the Colin Hart show. Of course, we see Colin Hart scampering into the end zone here, but largely it's been Julian Tyree distributing the ball to his receivers. We saw a 99-yard drive in that first half for a touchdown, perhaps the most impressive drive I've seen this season in the SFL. And Julian Tyree just was a mastermind on that drive. And they've kept the Kings off balance on defense all day today. And then on defense, Sioux Falls has largely been able to contain the Kings. The Kings are explosive. They're well-balanced, but they've got a fantastic running attack with Jared Willis on the ground. And then Ken Gossett, Grayson Willis, Mike St. Green, Jack Wall, these weapons on the outside in the passing game. We know that Jacksonville Kings has the power to attack and can make up the difference in this game today. It's going to be really interesting coming out in this second half to see if Sioux Falls can keep Jacksonville under wraps like they have. And it will also be really interesting to see what kind of adjustments Jacksonville makes on defense, knowing that Julian Tyree is having so much success throwing the ball in this first half. Interesting. We'll see what adjustments were made at halftime. I'm looking forward to another fantastic half of SFL playoff football.
Completely opposite game to the game the Jacksonville Kings played in the wild card round, even get here. They were matched up against the Houston Hyenas, ended up winning that one in an offensive shootout in overtime, 37-34, a game-winning 35-yard field goal by Anthony Sioux to even get to this point. We've got a defensive slugfest on tap today. Second half in 22 minutes or possibly a little bit more. We will have our third quarterfinalist. Denver and Baltimore already there. Jacksonville or Sioux Falls trying to join them, and then later today at 4:30 p.m., crowd play game of the week. Louisiana and Vancouver will round out our semi-final matchups. First and 10, Christensen, first play of the second half, throws it underneath and short, and it is knocked down by Barnhart, second down and 10.
Christensen puts the pump fake on there, delivers that ball out to the flat, and that was close. Barnhart was in good position. He could have easily taken that one back for 6 if he had just been a few inches closer on that one. 2nd and 10. Jacksonville starting behind schedule. They want to make sure they can put some points on the board early in the second half. Want to keep this drive going.
Jacksonville really has to be the aggressors here in the second half. Christensen goes down. First sack of the game for Sioux Falls, and it comes from Cam Frosby right up the middle. Remember, Gus Lucas, the center for Jacksonville, is out with an injury. I have not seen who is playing center right now. It looks like Warren O'Hara has slid over into the center role. But Cam Frosby took full advantage there. Now on 3rd and 12. Underneath it, it's broken up. Grayson Willis couldn't hang on to the ball, and it's going to be a 3-and-out to start the second half for Jacksonville.
Yeah, anytime you sustain an injury like that on offensive line, it's so tough to adapt, and we see right off the bat. Cam Frosby does have 5 sacks on the year, so he can get pressure on the quarterback. But just right off the bat to start the second half, we see Cam Frosby able to slip through the cracks there and bring down Christensen. He just kind of discombobulates them a little bit on this opening drive, and they have to punt too soon.
His own 5-yard line is Howard McCoy. He put Sioux Falls inside the 1 on his last punt. This time, the Sparrows are going to have much better field position. They're going to get all the way up to their own 44-yard line as the return by Levy is stopped right there.
Sparrows came out throwing the ball on the first drive of the game. They did have to punt. You know, Jacksonville played a good defense on that first drive, but Sparrows came out throwing. They've got the ball in good field position. It'll really be interesting to see what their mindset is to start this second half.
.44-yard line, 45 seconds gone by in the second half. Here's Jalen Wells, has us laid right up the middle, looking like a running back himself, does Mr. Wells. He gets all the way up to the 35-yard line, essentially flipping the field on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, great blocking up front here by the Sparrows. Just springs Jalen Wells for the huge gain. Right off the bat, they're going to be running the ball. This is what Sioux Falls is really great at. When they've got a lead, they can just smother you running the ball on offense. And I think that's what they want to maybe try and start doing here early in the second half.
Colin Hart, his first carry of the half. He's bottled up and dropped for a loss of 1. Coming into the game, one of the major storylines was the running back battle. Colin Hart against Jared Willis. The regular season numbers for both of these players. Willis, the better receiving back, but Colin Hart, obviously, 1,574 rushing yards, second only to one Reggie Streeter, who's been tearing up the league in Louisiana. Here's Colin Hart, gets a block right on cue, dives forward for a first down to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, the Sparrows are starting to run downhill here on this drive in the second half. Big chunks of yards by the two backs here. Fantastic pickup by Jalen Wells. Springs Colin Hart there for the gain. Another big gain, another first down. This is when the locomotive is running. You know, takes them a while to get up to speed, but once they're going, it's just hard to stop. And Sioux Falls looking good on this drive to start the second half.
They're going to throw now. No backs in the backfield. Under center goes Tyree. 7-step drop, pressure coming. He's hit as he throws, and the pass goes wildly into the Jacksonville bench and incomplete. Nice pressure up the middle there by Taquan Hale. And, man, it's surprising me how little we've talked about the defensive line for Jacksonville. Once lauded as the pinnacle of defensive efficiency as the SFL, in the SFL rather, has been put in their place tonight. Only 1 sack for Tyree. They'll go power I. Here's Colin Hart off the left-hand side. Breaks 1 tackle and is hit down after a gain of 5.
And here we see some of the highlights. These two teammates here, Taquan Hale and Hunter Norwood, league leaders up here in sacks this season, and we were certain that they were going to be a huge factor in this game today. They could still heat up in the second half and cause problems for Julian Tyree. You just have to be mindful of them on the field at all times if you're the Sparrows.
Well, that time they jumped off sides. Free play. Tyree's going to take a sack, but it won't register in the numbers column as a penalty's going to go against Jacksonville.
Of course, one of the ways to neutralize a pass rush like that is to run the ball.
Something that the Sparrows do almost as good as anybody. But once again, Julian Tyree, this is probably the best game he's had throwing the football all season, and we're only halfway through the third quarter. He's been remarkably efficient. He spread the ball around. Every receiver has at least one catch.
Yeah, he's playing really well from the quarterback spot, almost as if they're daring the Kings and that vaunted pass rush to come and get us.
Wells up the middle. It's been a breakout game for Jalen Wells as well. Multiple long runs. One on a just straight up the middle fullback dive where nobody was there to stop him, and another one in the first half where he took a screen pass and nobody blocked the fullback on the screen, and he just took it for about 30 yards. Second down and 9 now from the 12. I formation, Julian Tyree to pass. He finds Colin Hart, and nobody was guarding the flats as Colin Hart, untouched, into the end zone for the second time today. A carbon copy of the first touchdown for the Sparrows in the second quarter.
Absolutely. The Kings sold out on that play. We had everyone in the box, and Julian Tyree made the correct call there, able to hit Colin Hart the same route, just flaring out to the right, and no one was home for the Kings. An easy waltz into the end zone for the halfback, Colin Hart.
Button, is it time? Is it time to push the panic button for Jacksonville? I think it might be. 7 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Extra point is up and good from Maxwell Folk. We'll take 60-second break and be right back. This is the Simulation Football League quarterfinal 11 sports, and for the fans, Jacksonville has a lot of ground to cover when we come back. For the Sioux Falls Sparrows, and those same Sparrows are flying away from the Jacksonville Kings here in the third of 4 SFL quarterfinals this weekend to set up next weekend's semifinal matchups. Jacksonville on the ropes. They gotta start coming back now. 7 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the third quarter as Mike St. Green only brings that one up to the 22-yard line. Benji, put yourself in Frank Gooden's shoes. You're down on the sideline. Your offense has struggled. Your defense has started to be suffocated out of this game. What changes do you make specifically on the offensive side of the ball to give a little bit of daylight to your running game at least?
That's a great question. I think that you need to start taking some chances down the field, maybe loosen things up. Free play right here.
Get a free play here. It's the fullback, Gregory Mack, that is the recipient. He's knocked down after a gain of only 2. I think they'll accept that penalty.
Neutral zone infraction, number 93, defense, 5-yard penalty.
And it will be an accepted of the penalty. Cam Frosby, who has the 1 sack on the day for the Sparrows, a little bit too eager for another one as he jumps off sides. It'll be first down and 5.
If you're Jacksonville, this drive is paramount. But you've got the tools, you've got the stars, you've got the talent to get it done. They haven't found the end zone yet today. They've been shut out by Sioux Falls, but they've got the guts to do it. We'll see if they can deliver.
5, back to pass Christensen over the middle, fumble after the catch by Wall, and it's picked up by Sioux Falls. Nathan Barnett has the takeaway, and that could be a massive momentum swing here just halfway through the third quarter.
Potentially the first turnover of the game here. We'll see if Jacksonville wants to review this or not, but it looks like Wall's able to reel the ball in and make a football move, and then just gets the ball knocked away. This might stand. I don't know if they're going to review it, but it could indeed be the first turnover of the game.
Will throw the challenge flag, but on the replay, it looked to me like this might stand. That'll be Nathan Barnett's second turnover of the season. Had an interception last week in week 12, and then now has a fumble recovery if this one stands.
Yeah, this is too bad, too, because Jack Wall runs a great route and gets the linebacker all twisted around and reels that ball in for what we thought was a completed catch. We'll see what R62 says.
It is a fumble on the play. Call stands, Sioux Falls football. Jay Ringgold knocked the ball out of Jack Wall's hands, and the Sparrows have a chance. I really don't want to say to put the nail in the coffin here with only half the third quarter left, but they have looked dominant in this second half. And with a short field now starting at the Jacksonville 30. Handoff Colin Hart. He's wrapped up and dropped in the backfield. Big tackle there.
Yeah, similar play call perhaps by Jacksonville. However, you saw the safety hanging back there. They're going to be mindful of that potential swing pass out of that formation, but they're loading up the box. You know, this is where Sioux Falls is going to want to just take the breath out of you with this running game. So you're starting to see Jacksonville just crowd in the box. They know that they got to commit to stopping the run now.
2nd and 12. Hart gets the carry along the right-hand side. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage and a little bit more, down to the 29-yard line. Alex Bond brought him down. Now on 3rd and 9, as a defense, you really got to pin your ears back. This is an important stop.
Yeah, absolutely. You're almost already inside field goal range, so Jacksonville's attitude has got to be maybe expect, oh, they're coming out 5 wide.
Really want this first down. Tyree going long. They bought the house again, and Al Dillapre Sr. burns them again. Touchdown, Sioux Falls.
Touchdown from Julian Tyree to Big Al Dillapre Sr. Sparrows had the right play call there, and it didn't look like Jacksonville wanted to change what they were doing. They brought the house, and it was the right route called at the right time for Sioux Falls. Easy walk-in touchdown for Al Dillapre Sr. And just like that, Sioux Falls increases the lead.
Al Dillapre Sr.'s first receiving touchdown of the season comes in a pivotal moment in this quarterfinal. It is now 27-6 Sioux Falls with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And Jacksonville is going to have an entire game's output of offense in the last 16 minutes to even have a chance. We'll take a quick break and come back. Sioux Falls 28, Jacksonville 6. This is the Simulation Football League quarterfinals on 11 Sports and For the Fan. Back inside Liberty Park in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the situation now dire for the Jacksonville Kings as they're down 28-6 to the Sioux Falls Sparrows. The 3rd seed, 9 wins, 3 losses in the regular season. Those losses coming to Arizona, Fort Worth, and Charleston, and 2 of those in games you think maybe they should have won. Arizona and Charleston, they lost by 7 both games. The Fort Worth game, they were blown out. They didn't show up, but they really had a shot to go 11-1. A couple of things bounced their way, and they could be sitting at the top of the heap, but right now, they are the number 3 seed, fighting to get to the quarterfinals, as that pass from Christensen incomplete.
Michael, it's been a great year for Sioux Falls, but I think they're the type of the team that can win from any spot in the playoffs. What I mean by that is, yeah, they would have loved to be 11-1, but 9-3, they're not fazed by that either. I think that they are of the mindset that they can go anywhere, wherever they need to, and win. I think that we're seeing a very confident team on the field today.
Second down, 10. Handoff, middle. And that's only the third handoff to Jared Willis in this entire football game. He gets 8 yards right up the middle. And as I said, it's only the third run for Jacksonville. Take a look at those numbers. They're in the top 10 in almost every rushing category this season, and they've completely abandoned it today.
And it's part of that balanced attack that we thought they were going to need coming into this game to compete with the Sparrows.
Willis goes on the ground again, picks up a first down. Jay Ringgold makes the tackle, but it's a fresh set of downs for the Kings at their own 42.
And here, who would have thought in the third quarter of this game today we'd be talking about Julian Tyree outdueling Christensen at this moment. It's just been a strange game. I mean, if you're Sioux Falls, you're going to take it. You love this. You love the way this game's unfolding for you. But for Jacksonville, you never would have thought this would have been the outcome at this point in the game right now. They're not out of it. They still have life. But they got to start playing like Jacksonville knows they can play.
4 minutes, 15 seconds at the snap. Christensen is wrangled to the ground. A big loss of 4 on first down. It's the second sack of the game for Cam Frosby.
And here we see where that injury in the first half is affecting Jacksonville here. Short drop back by Christensen, and the offensive line just can't keep that line at bay. Cam Frosby with a second sack on the day.
Off middle again, going nowhere. As Cade Bailey, or excuse me, Jose Fuentes brought him down that time, assisted by Nick Fargo.
Sets up a 3rd and 15. Just, you've got to go all out on this play for Jacksonville. You just don't have much time left in this game.
Only a 4-man rush by Sioux Falls. Christensen plenty of time to throw over the top, but it's knocked away. Excellent defense by Jay Ringgold to prevent a one-on-one matchup on the outside. And if the catch is made there by Grayson Willis, it's arguably a touchdown.
Yeah, indeed. Christensen had a lot of time in the pocket, and he was able to sit back and wait for those routes to develop. Only 2 active routes down the field, and just couldn't make the connection there, and they are punting. There were 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Howard McCoy on again. Sioux Falls, one of these days they're going to get to one of those punts. But McCoy does get it away. Levy taken down at his own 24-yard line. Sparrows on the ball, try to salt away the rest of this game. When we come back, this is the Simulation Football League quarterfinals on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Season 15 playoffs continue today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the Louisiana Revolution hosting the Vancouver Legion with the final spot in the semifinals, up for grabs. The winner of this game will play the winner of that game. Sioux Falls looks for all the world like they're going to win this game. If they do and Louisiana wins, they will travel to the Bayou to take on the Revolution. If Vancouver upsets Louisiana, Sioux Falls would host the Legion in the semifinals. The other semifinal matchup is set as Denver and Baltimore saw off Florida and Mexico City respectively yesterday. That sets up a dynamic matchup in the offensive side of the ball. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we get closer towards the end of this one. 3 minutes, 19 seconds to go third quarter. Colin Hart off the right-hand side. He is crashed to the ground after a loss of 3. And I don't know if the yardage mattered too much right now to Sioux Falls. They just want to see that time go off the clock.
And if you're Jacksonville, you've been selling out to stop the run all game long. You can't stop now. You've been burned a couple times over the top, but now at this point in the game, you know the Sparrows are just lining up to run the ball.
2nd down and 13 from their own 21-yard line. Here's a short pass to the far side, and that's a nice tackle from behind by Alex Bond. Only the 2nd catch of the game for Noe Terrazas.
He had that huge, if you remember, that huge 3rd down conversion. I believe it was 3rd and 8, I believe. Sioux Falls backed up on their goal line early in that first half, and Noe Terrazas had the amazing 3rd down conversion that helped spark that 99-yard touchdown drive in the first half.
Nice pass over the middle into double coverage. And Al Dillapre Sr., who's been the breakout star in the receiving game today, hauls that one in. He got his first receiving touchdown of the season earlier and has converted 2 huge 3rd downs in the first half.
Having a great game today for the Sparrows. The only receiver we haven't been able to talk about today is Gunnar the Stunner Lewis.
Here's Hart on his horse again into Jacksonville territory, finally run down to the 44-yard line. And even when you sell out to stop the run, sometimes there's just no stopping number 22.
Yeah, this team just blocks so well on these running plays like this. And one thing Colin Hart does fantastic is he's a patient runner, and he lets these blocks set up. And then when you see guards like Dusty Wilson pulling and making blocks on the outside, and Colin Hart and Jalen Wells being patient and letting those blocks set up, it just leads to fantastic results in the running game.
44-yard line, Colin Hart, strong side left, beautiful blocking, opens up the lane, and he's got wide open spaces to run in. It's a hat trick of touchdowns for Colin Hart. A penalty flag flies in late. I think that's going to be a late hit, but Colin Hart has just eviscerated the Jacksonville defense today. And it will be a late hit on Alex Bond. A little bit frustrated is the big number 29 safety. But once again, he gets a block, he gets away, and there's nobody over the top to defend because everybody's in the box.
Yeah, well blocked after we were just talking about the offensive line play up front. Kudos again go out to guard Dusty Wilson, the rookie out of Annapolis. We've mentioned his name a couple times today. Just when you get that great offensive line action, the guards pulling, making those fantastic blocks on the outside, Jalen Wells cracking down, knocking heads, and making great blocks on the outside, just frees Colin Hart. There was just nothing but green space there. Another 6 points on the board for the Sparrows.
That puts Sioux Falls over their season average. They averaged 28.5 points per game in the regular season. And their best offensive output came against the Queen City Corsairs. They dominated that one 38-17 back in Week 7. And as well as the offense have played today, and they've taken advantage of the sort of positional mistakes and tactical errors from Jacksonville, the Sioux Falls defense, they look very scary because they had some questionable games this season. Obviously, Benji, you and I were there when they gave up 51 points to Fort Worth. And, you know, they've given up 38 and 33 and 28 and 27. But, man, today they've locked down one of the best offenses in the Simulation Football League and looked pretty effortless doing it.
Absolutely. They had a week off, too. Didn't have to play in the wild card round. They're fresh. They are excited to make a playoff push, and I think we see that they are a team capable of making it to the finals and taking this thing. They've just got a great team. Things are starting to come together for them. Trying to make a run.
This is what they've missed today. Kind of runs like this from Jared Willis. He's only touched the ball 6 times, but he's averaging about 7 yards a carry. And, you know, once you get down 17, 21, 28, 6, I can understand not leaning on the run game too much. But in the first quarter and the second quarter, when it was still a close game and they completely just left the run game on the side of the road, I didn't really understand the game plan coming in from Frank Gooden and his offensive staff.
Yeah, they had a few drives that just ended and made you think, well, that was just really odd to see out of the Kings. And they even had a drive that kind of stalled after the ball was knocked out of Christian Christensen's hands. They were able to jump on it, so it didn't turn it over, but it set them up with third and forever, and they couldn't convert on that. They had to punt away too soon. They just weren't able to sustain any of those drives early on in the game.
Run up the middle for no gain for Jared Willis. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. 4's up in the chat at twitch.tv/FTF. Next 11 minutes to go to crown the Sparrows kings of this game and send them on to the semifinals. It's 35-6. Sioux Falls over Jacksonville. Fourth quarter is next. Well, the bright spot for today has been Mr. Automatic, Anthony Cece. This was the seed a week ago in overtime against Houston in the wild card round. Anthony Cece hitting his 63rd straight field goal in his career to send the Jacksonville Kings to the quarterfinals. It was pandemonium all over the streets of Jacksonville last week, and Anthony really has been the main bright spot for Jacksonville today. He has all 6 of the Kings' points this afternoon. And now, with 65 of 65 for his career, the only kicker in SFL history with more than 30 kicks to have a 100% record. Fourth quarter on tap by Michael Torillo. Benji Matson is alongside me for this one. Sioux Falls lead the Jacksonville Kings 35-6. That pass is knocked away by Nick Fargo, getting in on the pass defense angle from the linebacker spot.
Nick Fargo swoops in just like Batman. Knocks that pass down. Leads the league with 3 forced fumbles from his linebacker spot. He's a bit quiet perhaps today, but just a strong player in that linebacker spot. Batman makes the play to force the punt.
And Howard McCoy has been on the field a lot more than he would have liked in this ball game. Gets the kick away cleanly from his own 20-yard line. Fair catch called for and taken at the 33 by A.J. Levy. 10 minutes, 51 seconds to go. We mentioned that the crowd play game of the week is coming up next at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the Vancouver Legion and the Louisiana Revolution for a spot in the semifinals. The winner of that game gets the winner of this game next weekend in a game that, in my humble opinion, will probably determine who is the favorites going into the championship game. Handoff, right side, and even when they're trying to just salt away the clock, Colin Hart's only mode of transportation is full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead. That's very true. Good blocking again up front. Jalen Wells, excellent block from the fullback spot. We're seeing this time and time again. We've seen it all season long. It's great blocking up front. And of course, Colin Hart totes the rock for another first down. Huge game today on the ground for the star halfback.
From the 45-yard line now. 10 minutes, 22 to go. Here's Wells on the fullback dive for 1 yard. The offensive line and Wells for this Sparrows offense are like the rail workers in the old Western movies. They lay the tracks, they lay the groundwork, and the train, which is Colin Hart, just comes steaming through. He's got wide open spaces to run through because there's nobody in his way.
Yeah, when Sioux Falls gets the engine running, if you will, they're just so tough to stop.
Quick short pass to the far side and turning upfield for another first down is Al Dillapre Sr. He gets it into Jacksonville territory for the 44-yard line.
Another conversion here by the Sparrows. Al Dillapre had a great game today. First touchdown of the season. Capable receiver when Jalen or when Julian Tyree needs him on the outside.
Off middle to Wells. He's dragged down, gain of 1. Jalen Wells has had a great game today as well. He's had a couple of really long carries. One right up the middle. He got a nice block, and there was nobody covering the middle, ran for about 30 yards. And then in the first half, he took a screen pass that nobody was covering him on the far sideline, and he scampered for about 30 yards. And he has a rushing touchdown today from the 2-yard line. Handoff, Colin Hart left side. He is going to be tackled pretty viciously after a gain of 7 down to the Jacksonville 37. But it's been a total team effort today by Sioux Falls, especially on offense.
Absolutely. A little bit of love for Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells is a former semi-pro fullback. He's a writer and a singer, played or wrestled in college, loves to play baseball as well, published poet even. So Jalen Wells, a man of many talents on and off the field, is a fantastic component to this Sioux Falls team.
A quick slant to Terrazas, picks up a first down to the 28-yard line. A modern renaissance man is Jalen Wells.
Absolutely. Fullbacks are people too. Jalen Wells having a great campaign this season for the Sparrows.
First and 10 for the Jacksonville 28-yard line. Under 8 minutes to go now. It's a quarterback sneak for 1 yard. Only the second time that Tyree has done that. As the action today has reflected the Who You Got community poll pretty accurately. 74% to 26%. Hart again off the left side trying to stretch the play. He does. He gets another great block. He's going to be dragged down from behind at the 6-yard line. Clay Jones was the one who chased him down to save the tackle. Colin Hart only had eyes for the end zone that time, looking for his 4th touchdown of the day.
This is a perfect example of what we've touched on earlier today, is the concept of this patient running attack. We mentioned that Colin Hart only has one speed. Of course, that's full speed ahead. But you see here, he's also a patient runner. He lets his blocks develop. Jalen Wells, again, picks up another fantastic block on the outside. Just when you let that offensive line do its work, you get great results.
Wells, middle, dragging defenders toward the goal line. Touchdown, Sioux Falls, the 2nd of the day for Jalen Wells, his 5th of the season.
Another well-executed drive by Sioux Falls. Just doing what they do best. Running the ball, killing time. And Jalen Wells, recipient of the carry here on the goal line, bulls in for the touchdown.
9 plays, 67 yards, and a rushing touchdown for Jalen Wells. It's been a comprehensive performance for Sioux Falls today. As on for the extra point is Maxwell Falk. Hasn't had to do much. He did miss a 52-yarder into the wind back when the game was still 0-0 with about 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Kick on the way and good. So It is 42-6 now. Sioux Falls extending their lead. We will take you through towards the finish when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Six minutes and 56 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Sioux Falls with a comfortable 42-6 lead over the Jacksonville Kings in this third of four SFL quarterfinals being played this weekend. Kick all the way from Maxwell Falk. Mike St. Green downs it in the end zone. Let's take a gander at the matchup coming next on 11 Sports and for the fans. 4:30 it kicks off. That is Louisiana hosting Vancouver in the fourth and final quarterfinal. The winner of that game gets the winner of this game. It's our crowd play game of the week. Benji, what are a couple of things that you're looking out for in the next game coming up?
Well, first of all, I'm hoping traffic isn't too heavy after this game. If I can make it home in time to turn this one on the telly, because it's going to be a game of the season, perhaps. I think you've got two title hopeful contenders duking it out. We've seen the dominance all year long displayed by Louisiana, and Vancouver has been coming on strong as of late, and they've got the offensive firepower to pull an upset in Louisiana. It's going to be a fantastic game later on this afternoon.
I don't think a team has had as many long touchdowns and broken plays on offense as Vancouver has. Every week there's highlights on Twitter and all over social media of Vancouver receivers just running wild over everybody. It's going to be a tough task, maybe the toughest task that Louisiana has faced this season defensively. But I think that what you're seeing right now from Sioux Falls is a pretty good indicator of what you might see from Louisiana next. They have the best running back in the league in Reggie Streeter. That man holds multiple records for rushing, including most rushing yards in a single game. They've got a quarterback in Johnny Pickler in his second season now, really coming into his own, and a coaching staff that has been compiled from previous SFL experiences in London and St. Louis that knows what they're doing, knows how to get their players in the right positions. It's going to be, as you said, probably one of the games of the year. I'm expecting an offensive shootout, but who knows what we'll get. Tune in, 4:30. That's just 25 minutes from now, as this game has only 5 minutes and 42 seconds left in it. Punt away from Greenwood again, or McCoy again, rather.
At the outset, we were talking about the balanced attack of Jacksonville and how they we're going to be able to rely on that balanced attack to keep this Sioux Falls defense guessing and at bay. But it was the Sioux Falls defense that was taking things into their own hands and impacting the play of the Jacksonville offense today. And we could see that same thing happen this afternoon. Vancouver coming in with an explosive offense, balanced attack, great on the ground, great through the air. But Louisiana's pretty stout defensively as well. And could they be impacting the tempo of Vancouver's offense? It's just going to be such a unique matchup to watch. Really looking forward to it.
Yesterday, the first two quarterfinals went off. Denver secured a monster second half to get the win over Florida 43-24. They will host the Baltimore Vultures, who outlasted the Mexico City Aztecs 33-27. And man, any of the remaining 5 teams, be that Louisiana, Sioux Falls, Vancouver, Baltimore, Denver, have a legitimate shot of winning this championship. It is wide open right now.
Absolutely. And that's one of the great things about the SFL too. There's been some great parity this season, and we see a couple teams that have risen to the top, the cream of the crop, if you will. But on any given day, any team can win in the SFL, and that's why you play the games. That's
how it's been. Sorry, continue.
Oh no, go ahead.
And that's how it's been the last couple of seasons as Max Moholt comes on to punt for Sioux Falls. 2017, 2018 was dominated by 2 teams. The Tallahassee Pride, which eventually became the Jacksonville Kings, and the Florida Storm, who then were the Alaska Storm. Alaska won 3 straight championships, 2 of those against Jacksonville in back-to-back seasons. So that's a nice return by St. Green, all the way up to the 35-yard line. And then, of course, Denver came in and disrupted it, and then Seattle came in and disrupted it a little bit more, and this season in 2019, we have seen some of the most parity in the SFL since I joined the league, by the way, back in season 9, back in 2016. So it's been great to watch. We had so many teams like 6-5, 7-5, 6-6. It was hard to sort out who got the bottom playoff spots. It came down to the last couple of games. And it's just an incredible season as a whole, and I can't wait to see how it finishes. Here's a little screen pass to Willis, knocks over a defender and gets 9.
But when the dust has settled here in these playoffs, it is the veteran teams with the experienced coaches that are having success in these playoffs.
Christensen goes down again. Jay Ringgold reminds me in the FTF Next chat that the Storm had 2 straight undefeated seasons for those championships as well. They didn't lose for over a calendar year. And to see where the SFL is now, and obviously at the end of this season, we're going to bring a couple of more franchises into the SFL-M is going strong at the moment. Season 2 of the minor league already underway. You can catch that on Friday nights on the Simulation Football League's YouTube and Twitch channels. And a lot more players, coaches, and everybody else involved as this league continues to grow. Just 3:25 to go in this one. Sioux Falls with a 42-6 lead. Jacksonville inside Sioux Falls territory at the 35. Almost intercepted, but into the hands of Gossett. Makes a man miss with a spin move and gets up to the 21. Swing pass out to Willis as Cameron Irvine reminds me that Tallahassee had an undefeated season, lost in the final. Alaska, the next season, went undefeated and won. It was not Alaska who defeated 2 straight seasons, as I incorrectly remembered. That pass off the hands of Willis.
I want to take a quick moment to give a quick shout out. That was a fantastic kick return by Mike St. Green, the rookie out of Houston, Texas. If anyone lives in Houston, Texas, Mike St. Green is a chef and owner of Bayou City Eats. It's a food truck there in Houston's won awards for his shrimp and grits. So if you are able, look up Mike St. Green, go find the Bayou City Eats food truck. and dine on some fantastic shrimp and grits.
Down 3 to the far side. Pass caught by Gossett. Tries to turn upfield. Gets a first down and goal, but the clock continues to run. 2 minutes, 41 seconds. As Jacksonville is trying to salvage a little bit of points here. Christensen to Willis. Room to run to the 5. Pushed out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Some might say we're in garbage time, which is a term that's thrown out often, but we see Jacksonville having a fantastic effort here on this drive, moving in for a potential score here. You know, as we start to think ahead towards next season for Jacksonville, they are a fantastic team, well coached, great players, star players at all positions. They've got all the talent in the world. Hopefully, they can be proud of themselves, the effort they put into this game today. After this play here, perhaps they score.
They do indeed score. Jared Willis with the touchdown. His 4th receiving touchdown of the season. As Jacksonville finally gets on the board with under 3 minutes to go in the game. Or in the touchdown, rather, with under 3 minutes to go in the game.
Nice cap there to this game. You know, we could be very well 2 weeks from now be looking at Sioux Falls being crowned the season 15 champs. And if that's the case, Jacksonville realizes that they just ran up against a buzzsaw this week. They're playing on the road in the playoffs, which is always such a difficult thing to do. And I think that they can keep their heads held high as they leave the game today, knowing that they are an excellent squad, coach, great players all across the field. It's just so hard to win in the SFL. Only one team walks away with the hardware when it's all said and done. But just want to make sure we give some kudos and some love to the Jacksonville Kings and the fantastic season they had this year as we're approaching the end of this game today. They've had a great season. They should be proud of the things they've accomplished.
And they'll be here next season. The Jacksonville/Tallahassee, before they moved, they've always been at the leading edge of innovation in the league. They've had a head coach and owner, Frank Gooden, who pretty much developed the defensive line meta by himself back in 2017. Like putting star players and giving value to defensive linemen and offering them big contracts wasn't a really big thing. Then Frank Gooden started doing it, and Tallahassee made 2 straight championship games. And so everybody else started to copy them, and now it's the norm. So he's a big innovator. If there's an edge to find, Frank Gooden will find it, and trust me, Jacksonville will be back.
Absolutely. And in a strange way, Frank Gooden set the mold, of course, and so we've got other copycat teams, but that's also a form of flattery. Just shows that Coach Gooden is a fantastic mind here in the SFL.
2 minutes to go. Sioux Falls just holding out to end this one. It's 42-13. This is the SFL quarterfinals on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Two-minute warning come and gone here. Sioux Falls can just hold the ball and run to their heart's content, see this one out. They've got a 42-13 lead over the Jacksonville Kings and will advance to the semifinals. As up the middle, there's the backup running back. Calling hard on the sidelines. Freddie Fox says it's my time to shine and gets up to the 28.
Freddie Fox doesn't get into the game all too often, but when he does, he likes to take advantage of yet another well-blocked offensive scheme here. The offensive line is still playing ball up front. Freddie Fox is able to hit the hole. Positive gain.
I mean, Jason McGee and AJ Levy, as general manager and owner, head coach of this team, they don't like to, rest on their laurels. Yeah, it's 42-13. They got a big win in front of their home fans. They've got a big game next week. Likely, as if things go chalk, they will be going up against the number 1 team in the SFL. So they've got to be on their game. They see this as practice time for their offensive line. Get them in there. Make this a drill. Practice those blocking schemes, because whoever you're going to be facing next, it's with a trip to the title game on the line.
Absolutely. Staying sharp's the name of the game. You know they're going to be celebrating after this win today, but they won't be celebrating very long. You know they're going to be watching this next game unfold, probably rooting for Vancouver, because who wouldn't love to see, if you're a Sioux Falls fan or player or coach, who wouldn't love to see next week's game at home here at Liberty Park?
Off middle, Freddie Fox falls forward for 2 yards, half yard short. Willie Beeman is also in at quarterback for the Sioux Falls Sparrows, just to hold this one out. Minute 33 to go and counting.
Yeah, Julian Tyree's day is done. Unofficially, we have him 17 for 21, 232 yards and 3 touchdowns. A fantastic game for Julian Tyree, quarterback of the Sparrows.
187 for Colin Hart with 3 touchdowns as well. The kneel down from Willie Beeman at quarterback. And it'll be 4th down and 2. They'll have to snap the ball one more time, but that should do it. And if they do kick the field goal here, it will make the over of 57.5. I mean, to be perfectly honest here, Benji, when I saw that over before we started this broadcast, I thought there's no way we're hitting 57.5. These two teams are great on defense. They like to play slow and methodical, but Sioux Falls just blown it out of the water. Maxwell Falk nails it from 36 yards. They take a 45-13 lead, and now this is officially the tied for the most points that Jacksonville has given up in the playoffs. They gave up 45 to Queen City back in 2017. This will be the worst loss in Jacksonville playoff history. Previously, their worst loss was a 38-13 defeat, also in 2017 at the hands of Atlanta.
Those are some stats that the Jacksonville Kings aren't fans of today, but we'll just need to reiterate that they've got a fantastic team, and the future is definitely very bright for the Kings.
Talk about the leg on Maxwell Falk for a second. He almost put that one through the uprights from the 30-yard line with just a 10-mile-an-hour wind going left to right.
They haven't had to rely on the kicker today at all by any means, but such a big leg could come in handy in next round.
Falk 0 for 1. He missed a 52-yarder in the first quarter. That was into the wind, and he only missed it by about a yard or so it was very close. 16 seconds to go. Jacksonville maybe trying to salvage one more thing on offense. Big tackle in the hole there on Willis. And with 3 seconds left, Christensen spikes the football. Once again, your final reminder coming up at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Chris Curtis and Gerald Giudice have the call as the final quarterfinal plays out and the crowd play game of the week. It's Louisiana and Vancouver, two teams with explosive offenses, meet in what could be the game of the year in the Simulation Football League. Do not miss it. It's on 11 Sports, and for the fans, it comes your way in just over 10 minutes. Stay right here. Do not touch your dial, your browser, your remote, whatever you're watching this game on. Christensen, near side. Gossett breaks a tackle, but is tackled well in front of the end zone, and that'll do it. The Sioux Falls Sparrows have picked apart and deleted the Jacksonville Kings from playoff contention. And for the second straight year, The Sioux Falls Sparrows are headed to the SFL semifinals with a 45-13 win over the Jacksonville Kings.
What a game today by the Sioux Falls Sparrows. The Jacksonville Kings fall victim to the Sparrows machine. They were impressive today in this victory. Started right off the bat today. Julian Tyree and the Sparrows throwing the ball. We didn't expect that to happen early in the game today, but I think Sioux Falls came out today and made a statement that they're not just going to be content running the ball, and if you're going to be game planning for them next round and perhaps in the championship game, take a look at what Sioux Falls put on tape today. They wanted it to be known. They aren't just a Cullen Hart, Jalen Wells running machine. They've got a talented offense on the field, and Julian Tyree is the captain. He had a fantastic game today, going for over 230 yards, over 80% pass completion today, and 3 touchdowns for the captain, Julian Tyree. Here's some highlights. Who else running the ball but Cullen Hart? Over 180 yards on the ground, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 receiving touchdowns. He got the scoring started early, and the Sparrows scored often today. They just really manhandled these Kings, these Lions on the ground today. They just really an impressive performance by Sioux Falls. The team headed to the semifinals, and for Jacksonville, they just couldn't get things uncorked today. Their captain, Christensen, bottled up for the large part, did throw for over 200 yards, but his receivers really held in check, and Jared Willis, only 8 rushing attempts, less than 50 yards on the ground today by their all-star halfback. Just the script was turned upside down from the get-go for the Jacksonville Kings, and they fall victim to an impressive Sioux Falls Sparrows team on the road today. Player of the game, Cullen Hart, perhaps. Yep, 24 rushing attempts, 187 yards. Sioux Falls is looking ready to go in these playoffs. Michael, it's been an honor calling this game and calling games with you this season.
As we end this game, and thus ends both Benji and my seasons behind the microphone, as I typically like to do, I'd like to give shout-outs to producer, Commissioner Cameron Irvine, Director of Broadcasting Mike Daggs, and Assistant Director of Broadcasting Chris Curtis. Thank you for all that you do and for allowing us to bring you SFL action all season. So, for Benji Manson, Russell Colston, Delaney Nash, and Cameron Irvine, who have made this broadcast possible, we say go so long and have a very pleasant good afternoon. Stick around for the final quarterfinal. It's coming up next.